Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing really well. Today, I'm here again to talk about the Gamsat. Now, what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about how best that we can actually prepare for the Gamsat so that we can stay focused, calm, and confident throughout the whole test. So basically, this video is just going to be broken up into two parts. The first part's going to be about the preparation. So basically, I'm just going to talk about how to best study leading up to the exam so that we can kind of trick ourselves into feeling more comfortable to the conditions that we will face when we actually sit the exam on the day. And then I'll talk about strategies that we can use on the day just to kind of make us feel a little bit calmer, a little bit more relaxed, so that we can stay focused throughout the whole exam and ultimately just feel that much more comfortable. So let's get into it. All right, so the exam, as we know, is pretty much broken up into about two and a half hour blocks. Now, looking at it like that, it does sound pretty daunting, hey? So in order to become climatized and a little bit more comfortable with that environment, it makes sense to kind of study also and prepare in a similar one. Like for example, take an Olympic swimmer. You know, if you're an Olympic swimmer and you have to swim the 400-meter backstroke, when training and preparing for the Olympics, you're going to train in a pool and you're going to swim 400 meters or more and you're going to use backstroke. Like they're not going to swim freestyle in the ocean for the months leading up to the event, because that would build the wrong kind of muscle memory and the wrong kind of endurance and skills and techniques necessary for actually doing well in the event at the Olympics. So there's two reasons why the swimmers are going to train in the actual environment for the event that they're going to participate in. And one, that's because they allow themselves to build the same muscles and endurance and strength necessary for the actual specific event. And two, they become familiar with the environment and the feelings that may arise during the actual race. If we break this down a little further, we can attribute this to the fact that we are humans and we are creatures of habit. And because of this, we develop mindsets based upon our associations to certain environments, feelings and emotions. Like say if you really like the ocean, and then whenever you smelt seawater or you felt that nice ocean breeze down by the coast, you know, you kind of feel that warm and fuzzy feeling, you know, you feel a bit happy, a bit calm, nice and relaxed. This is something for the purposes of this video, we'll just call an association complex, or AC for short. So what we want to do to prepare for the Gamsat is that we want to develop our AC specifically for this test. That way, when we go to sit the test on the day, we're already familiar with how we're going to react, what we're going to feel during the exam. And say if we get to the hour and a half minute mark and we start to feel a bit tired and we start to feel a bit thirsty, you know, that's no longer a bad thing because we know that this is going to happen. We already knew this was happening, and so we can expect it, and we know that, oh, I just have to have a drink of water and the tiredness will pass and I can get stuck into it. So what we actually want to do when preparing for the Gamsat is that we want to build our AC specifically for the event. That way we're already aware of some of the feelings and emotions that may occur throughout the exam. So say like that way, when it gets to the hour and a half minute mark and we start to feel a little tired or we start to feel a little thirsty, we're prepared. And we knew this was going to come, and we know that we already have our drink bottle there, and we know that after we have a sip of water and we kind of take a few deep breaths, the tiredness will pass and that we can continue on and do our best. So the way that we can tailor our AC specifically for the Gamsat is that we want to try and trick ourselves into feeling motivated and upbeat and excited to complete these intense 2.5 hour study blocks. And the way we go about this is structuring our Gamsat study exactly like the Gamsat. That means when we sit down to study, we're studying in 2.5 hour blocks or possibly even more. And we're studying with no distractions and no music. And straight afterwards, we want to utilize one of the key principles in building a habit, and that's rewarding ourselves with something positive. And if we maintain this consistency when studying, either once or twice a day, we can turn it into a habit. And all of a sudden it will become a little bit more automatic, and it will become much easier to kind of sit down and feel prepared and motivated to want to get these study blocks done. I find that this is probably the key thing that you need to be doing to kind of build your ability to maintain focus through the whole 2.5 hour sections that we have to sit the exam. Because although it can feel really good to have little 30-minute blocks of questions where we answer one or two and review them, find out what we did right, find out what we did wrong, and then move on, that may feel like a really good way to develop progress, and honestly it is. But I think a big pitfall that a lot of people don't prepare for is actually being able to stay focused and stay switched on for such a long period of time. Something that I actually do whenever I have to study long periods of time, or to be honest, I do it all the time at work on the weekend when I'm working 8-9 hour shifts, is that say if I'm studying for 4 hours at a time, or I'm working, an 8-hour shift, after I've gotten 4 hours through that 8-hour shift and I've hit a wall and I've hit an absolute slump and I just want to call it quits and go home, I just think about, well, all I have to do is that same 4 hours again. Like, it kind of sounds a bit silly, but if I've already completed that first 4 hours, I can just as easily complete the second 4 hours in exactly the same manner. Which, if we then translate that to the Gamsat, if we've got that 2.5 hour block, we know that, hey, after that hour and 15 minutes, that all you have to do is just another hour and 15 minutes. And the good thing about the test is that, especially for the first part, it's split up into 2 completely different tasks. So you kind of do get that refreshment and that changing content that kind of makes it a little bit easier to navigate. So when we're talking about staying calm and relaxed and focused on the actual day of the test, I thought it could be beneficial to run you guys through what I do on the day leading up to the exam for both of my sittings. So before absolutely anything happens on the day at all, you are already organized and prepared and set from the night before. That way, when you wake up, you don't have to think about anything because you are all set, ready to just get up and get on with it. Because you're already going to be nervous beyond belief. Your anxiety is going to be just through the roof. And the last thing you want to be thinking about on the morning when you wake up is, where are my lucky socks? Where are my car keys? You just don't need it. So do yourself a really, really big favor and just be organized and ready to go. Now, on the way to the test and when lining up and waiting and sitting down moments before you begin, you're almost guaranteed to have those nerves and that anxiety just go and shoot absolutely into the sky. It's pretty natural, but take solace in knowing that almost every single person there on the day is going to be feeling exactly the same way. So what I did in that situation, which is probably the best advice I can give to you too, is to stop, close your eyes, and just take a few really deep breaths. Become aware of not only your surroundings, but yourself. Try and become really aware of every part of your body. Feel your feet. Are they warm? Are they cold? Feel your lucky socks touching on your skin. Feel the shirt on your chest. Feel the wind blowing onto your face. It's a really, really strong way to recenter your mind, lower your emotive state, and just bring a really, really nice sense of clarity. What I like to do as well is remind myself that I have worked really, really hard to get here. I have studied effectively, and I know that I'm going to do the best that I possibly can today. I find this actually really helps to turn my nerves into excitement and motivation to want to just nail this test. During the test as well, if you're starting to feel a bit overwhelmed or stressed, exactly the same thing. I just close my eyes and take a few deep breaths for a couple seconds, and I find it's a really good way to mindfully relax my mind. Each time I sat the Gamsat, without fail, I found it so much more beneficial to take those couple seconds to stop and relax myself and allow myself to refocus on the task at hand, as opposed to just slogging through the next couple questions constantly on edge and feeling a little bit fidgety. Those couple seconds really do make a big difference to maintaining focus and doing better overall on the test. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down the bottom, because it makes a huge difference to supporting the channel. And at the end of the day, just remember that you've worked hard for this and you know that you've done everything that you possibly can to give yourself the best opportunity to do well on the test. So take some solace in that. Use these nerves as a reminder for how much time and effort that you have dedicated to this test, so that when you sit it, you know that you're going to do the best that you possibly can. Leave a comment down below about how you've gone sitting the Gamsat and some of the tips and tricks that you use to kind of stay focused and calm while sitting it. I'd love to check it out. And until next time, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.